All right, welcome everybody to Success Zone, Friday morning, August 3rd. Hope you guys had a very productive week going into the weekend here. And as we always do, we're going to share with you our Friday morning video, and we're going to go into our training. So if you like, get a pen and paper. You should always take notes, always pick up certain nuggets. Regardless of how many times you may have heard the presentation or the training, it's a personal growth journey, and as you personally grow, I promise you will hear things differently. So let's start with our
advice. What would it be? Never give up. If I could give anyone just one piece of advice, what would it be? Never give up. It's so sad to see so many people give up on the life they want to live just because of the need to fit in. Fit in with parents, fit in with friends, fit in with society. Too afraid to dream of how great life can be because life and others have offered plenty of examples of what can go wrong. Plenty of examples of how hard life is, how much of a struggle life is. Well, I don't buy that. I believe everyone is capable of creating the life they want. I refuse to believe we are stuck. I refuse to believe in limitation.
We are capable of anything, only if we believe that. Because with belief comes action. With belief comes possibilities. With belief, we are open to opportunities.
When we refuse to give up on our dream, when we seek to find examples of those who have achieved the life they want, when we want to learn how we can make steps forward every day, when we are open to learn more, when we are willing to work for it, when we trust our intuition and follow our hearts, when we have the courage to trust the universe and reach for the sky, well, then anything is possible.
If you believe it, you can achieve it. If you can dream it, there's no doubt you can be it. Believe in yourself. Shakespeare said, "Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt." See, most people fear failure so much they don't even try. Therefore, they fail by default. Achieving anything of significance in life will never be easy. But the only way you can guarantee not achieving anything is if you never try in the first place.
You do not know what is going to happen in the future. Anything can happen if you believe in yourself and are willing to learn how to make it happen. It might not happen right away. It might take you longer than expected. But if you are committed and maintain belief that in the end you will achieve your desired outcome, you will achieve your desired outcome. Never give up. Never, ever give up.
I believe I can create my own reality because it's a strong belief to hold, because when I feel good, more good things come. When I'm low, more low moments come. If you don't believe you create your own reality, then you're at the mercy of your circumstances, at the mercy of what happens to you. I couldn't think of much worse ways to live than always be reacting as if life has something against me. Life presents challenges to all of us. When we accept all things that arrive, not as good or bad, but as part of our journey, we can respond to all things with character and presence rather than react in hate or anger. When we know that life isn't holding something personal, but rather see it as a challenge given to the strong, we can deal with it better. Never give up. Never, ever give up.
think that's the message. I think it was pretty loud and clear. All right. So good morning, everybody. And what we're going to, let me put my, so, a couple of things I wrote down when I was, just listening to that video. And, you look at what we do on a daily basis. And, when you start to go out there and talk to people about an opportunity, right, you become sort of different. It's amazing. You can make a Facebook post about happy birthday to whoever, and you'll get 500 likes. But post something about your opportunity, and there's crickets. It's amazing. It's wild. But see, the reason why I think a lot of people don't succeed is they want to fit in. See, when you make your decision, you automatically don't fit in. You don't fit into the masses because you made a decision outside of their comfort zone. You got through your fear, okay? But then all of a sudden now you become like this alien. So you got to understand, you got to pave your way. Belief equals actions, of course, right? Courage to trust. Most people fear failure, but what I love about what was said is failure by default. And a lot of people avoid fear by avoiding failure. In other words, if I've never tried, how can I fail? And that's how most people, so as you go out there and share with what you're doing, remember how I always talk about through your testimonial? You got to emphasize this. This is something you really have to emphasize because without a doubt, most people are controlled by fear and doubt. So how do you overcome that? You overcome it by saying, I was stuck in my ways. I was full of fear and doubt. You repeat back exactly what controls them. But my situation was such and my back was against the wall, I had to do something different. And what I learned was I was really fearful of change. But what I love of what I just got involved with is, okay, I'm around a group of people that are walking me through, showing me every step of the way. Do you see how you could walk people through some of their own fears and doubts just through your own story? It's so important to relate to the person. And that's why I go back to what I said when I did that training. I understand the way you feel. Man, I was so full of fear and doubt, it paralyzed me. But I knew in order for things to change, I have to change. And this is where then you insert whatever it is you're offering. And remember, you're offering it, you're throwing it out there to see if there's a bite. I don't care if it's with your product or with your opportunity. Now, I'm not going down that road because the training I want to do is really trying to develop you to the mindset of a leader. Okay, now some of you, this may be over your head. You're trying to figure out how to sell a product. Okay, that's okay. You could still know the end goal. It's sort of like getting involved with your company and you have $1 million goal, but you haven't made $1 yet. So what? So what? You still want to know your end journey? Well, same thing. The $1 million doesn't happen unless you take the journey towards leadership. You're not going to become a millionaire by sponsoring 2 people. You're not going to be a millionaire unless you make some drastic changes and become the person, okay, that maybe you admire in somebody else. I always used to look up to my mentors and go, wow, look at that skill set, always on time. Never, ever. If someone wasn't on time, they'd lock the door. I go, wow, that's a leadership quality. Then I would watch how they talk to people. I watch how they always did what they say they were going to do. I was a student to really understand what it took for me to lead my own team. Okay, so remember, you may be somebody that's just trying to figure out how to make $5. That's okay. You could still take this in because it will apply at some time if you continue the journey. But an MLM leader, or forget MLM leader, a leader is someone who creates leaders, not followers. In our industries, leaders sustain your business, not followers. This is what people don't understand. Maybe some of you remember, I always say, okay, remember the training? If you could talk to one person a day, okay, to get one person a week excited, to find one person a month, somebody that wants to build it, to keep one good one a year. In 5 years, you have 5 good people. When I say that, I mean 5 leaders. You can't spend the money. But how many thousands of people come through that organization to produce 5 leaders? See, you don't pick a leader off a tree. Leaders are developed. Now, are there skill sets that you could recognize within others that could help them achieve leadership faster? Of course. Remember the training I said? I like to interview people. I like to ask questions because I'm trying to find somebody who has leadership skills. And that's the attributes to success. Okay, some of you guys have seen that training. Okay, but when you look at it, leaders have a powerful vision. Successful leadership training has the capacity to translate vision into reality. You got to speak it, right? You got to believe it. You got to have your vision down on where you're going. And I don't care where it is right now, because remember who you're leading right now. Who are you leading if you have no organization? You're leading yourself. That's where the leadership starts, is leading you. This is where people miss it. I can't wait to get a team so I can tell them what to do. No, no, no. You don't get a team until you start telling yourself what to do. Remember the chicken and the egg? It's the same thing. Well, I'll work on me. I'll just find a leader. No, you won't, because a leader won't follow a follower. A follower will follow a leader, but a leader will never follow a follower. So if you start to represent yourself, that you start to lead yourself, do you know how different that makes you? Think about who leads people now if they have a job. Do you think they lead themselves? No, they're being led. Know the answers to the test based on who you're talking to. If I'm talking to somebody with a job, immediately I go, they're being led. So what do I have to do? Lead them. I tell employees what to do. Why? They're used to being told what to do. Listen, try this. Watch this. Listen to me. Different meant the different. I give direction because they're programmed. So the powerful vision starts with you, because nobody here has a team big enough to lead somebody. Another tip, product knowledge. Fact. Product knowledge has nothing to do with performance. And also teach this to your team. Now, don't get too out of balance here. Okay, your product is the vehicle. Your product is the gasoline. Without a good product, right, you don't have an opportunity. But having said that, no company is going to bring a product into the market that they don't think there's a need for. So this is what we mean. You don't have to become a product expert in order to lead people. You don't. And that's what I love. Teach this to your team. Okay? Dedication to a daily routine. Woo, here we go. This goes back to leading yourself. Has to start with you guys. Has to start with you. Then once you get yours down, that could take some time to get your rhythm. Remember, you got to change your hypnotic rhythm. Got to change it. Okay, so once you start changing your hypnotic rhythm, guess what's going to happen? You're going to start to get results. Then you create a similar routine for your team. See, because I was spare time, part-time first, I found a hypnotic rhythm based on my company's my company's tools on how to create the spare time, part-time routine. When I became full-time, because I was full-time, I create a full-time routine. And those are some of the things that you have been taught. The 9 critical activities. What do you think that came from? It came from our routine. Figuring out what worked and then teaching it. Small changes that will make an impact. Biggest thing in the beginning, guys, is time management. And focusing people on what they do. That's a key to this business. And this will then lead you to, where's my thingy here? Okay, how to. Effective step-by-step training manual for your team to work. Now, when I say that, in this instant, because everybody here is part of a different company, plug into your company trainings. Be present. Okay, and I'm not just saying this, but Alicia is present when she's on these calls. You could feel her presence. I know she's taking notes. Aman is present. They're listening. That's what I'm talking about, is committing to leadership. But then taking, now this is what I don't know, taking what you learn and where you were present and going and applying it. That's the hard part. I could sit here and I could be very present. But then when this is turned off, here's the question for all of you. What do you do? When no one's watching, what do you do? That's where success is built. That's how success is born. When nobody's watching. Focus on motivating and training people that will greatly contribute to success. Disregard unproductive teammates. A good MLM, a good leader can handle disappointments and overcome failures and produce solutions. Believe me, this is a business. Any business is a business of solving problems, period. That's why I just want to take out the MLM part. Not that I'm embarrassed of MLM. I'm just saying it's any business. What do you do? What if you have a store or a restaurant and you have an unproductive employee? What do? You get rid of them, right? Well, you can't get rid of people here, but you cannot give them your time. And this is where I hear all the time from people over the course of 25 years. Jeff, so-and-so is not doing anything. And then as soon as they start saying that out of their mouth, you know what I do? I go to their genealogy and I see what they're doing. And it's normally they're doing what they're complaining about. Nothing. They're telling me about how they have unproductive teammates, but then I look at their production and they're doing nothing too. I go, they're following you. If they're not following you, if you are productive, you don't give them your time. Now, I don't treat them bad. I still give them a high five, still give them a big kiss when I see them, but I understand, okay, their journey is different than mine. The mentor I followed in the beginning, since I wasn't productive, didn't give me his time. But I was at every event, but he knew I had to take my journey. And then as soon as he started to see production, he started to release his time. See what happens? You can't demand mentorship, because just like I can't fire you, you can't fire your upline either. So who can you control? You. That's the only person you can control, but it's the most control. Okay, disappointments overcome failures and produce solutions. We all know the problems. Believe me, your leaders right now know the problems. Be the solution. Come with a solution. Ask questions from the leaders you look up to. Respect their time and their expertise. Surround yourself with these people. Get around it. Well, Jeff, I'm not productive yet. I still was at every event. I was still on every call. Right? It's sort of like this. I know who's on all the time. They're getting around it. I know that a lot of people aren't where they want to be, but they're taking the journey. And that gets the ultimate respect. It's easy. It's easy not to take any new journey. The hard part is taking it. Well, scratch that. The first hard part is making a decision to do it. The second and the most powerful part is actually implementing a program and actually doing something every day. In other words, sometimes it's easy to make the decision. The hard part is executing. But respect their time, their expertise. Because they're vested, guys. Leadership in this industry, they're vested in your success. And just remember, keep educating yourself. And not just educating. I want to emphasize that. It's taking the information and doing. Learning is a never-ending activity. Best way to learn is to fail. Best way to learn is to fail. And that's why, listen, that's why you can never fail. You guys got it? How come I can never fail? Because if I'm learning and I'm doing, how could a failure be a bad thing if you learn from it? It can't. So now you just eliminate it, what you're fearful of, which is rejection. Well, wait a minute, that's not rejection. They didn't get involved with me. Maybe I could look at that as a failure, but what can I learn from that experience? Now it's not a failure. See, it's a head game. That's all it is. And you're always talking to yourself. And I'm telling you, tell me if I'm wrong. There's two voices talking to you every day. I got many voices in my head. The negative voice, the positive voice. The negative voice, it was the loudest in the beginning. It drowned out the positive. The only way I got positive voices is when I went to an event. As soon as I left the event, the negative was so strong. But eventually, I didn't need the events to drown out the negative voice. Does that make sense? Leadership. Because I knew then that I knew. In the beginning, I didn't know that I knew. I had to trust other people that I followed knew. And that was my belief. But as soon as I left the people with a bigger belief than me, failure the other voice took over. He said, really? Do you really believe that stuff? Right? And then I would go, you're right. Then I'd go back to another event. They'd get me hyped up, and I'd go back, and that other voice got less and less. Until I finally said, I don't need you anymore. I don't need the positive reinforcement because I know that I know. See, that's where I want to get you guys. Where you know that you know. And then nobody could tell you differently. Isn't that powerful? That's power. That's when you start telling people what to do. And if they don't, you know what you say? They're lost. They lost, not me. But in the beginning, that fear takes over. It's crazy. Now, I'm going to stress this here because I don't want you guys to misinterpret this. A leader, and I'm talking about 7-figure income earners, they're not doing another multi-level. Now, having said that, contradiction is in the company I'm with now, because I make the rules here, I don't care if you're involved in other multi-levels. I don't get weirded out if somebody else is marketing a supplement or a wearable or some coffee. Okay, if they're here, they're here. And I know they're going to follow the money. That's common sense, right? So I don't get weirded out. The only thing we ask in the company I'm with is you can't be involved in another company that has the same product. Follow me? In other words, if I'm in telehealth now, you guys know that, I don't want the people in my business involved in another telehealth company. But they could be involved in anything else. I don't care. How can I teach entrepreneurship and say, don't be an entrepreneur? But now, having said that, listen to my message. A top earner does not promote more than one company. You guys understand? I still am a believer, even though it's not my rule, if you try to chase two rabbits, you'll catch neither one. But remember, I can't dictate their journey. Maybe their journey is, I was involved in 7 multi-levels. And I figured out that didn't work. So I had to pick one and focus on it. That's not for me. That's their journey. I could train all day long. But I'm telling you, your top earners do not spend time in another multi-level. They may use, I posted once, I'm a proponent for the industry. My coffee is Organo. My wearable device is Hilo. My supplements are Beachbody. Right? But my business, and now I have crypto. But that's an investment. I'm not doing it. I just said, okay, let's put some money there. But if you ask me what I do, what do I do? Do I waver on that? No. But if you look at my shelf, you're going to go, wow, you're a consumer of multi-level products. Yes, I am. So don't pitch another MLM to your team, even if it's just an online marketing tool. And here's why. The weaker distributors will likely go where it seems to be the easiest. That's comical, by the way. That's comical. Oh, it's easier here. Wait a minute. Hang on a second. Let me get this straight. Does your business that you think is easier still require people? Yes. Then it's not easier. Are you kidding me? I just look at them like, I go, maybe, I think you're missing something. A couple of stones in your brain. It's not easier anywhere else, because wherever you go, there you are. It's the you. So understand, people look for the easy road. Well, Jeff, I'm telling you, this product's hotter. It's okay. Give it time. It won't be a hot product. Now what happens? Okay. The next big thing is telehealth. Okay. What happens when it's not the next big thing? Does that mean our opportunity's over? Hilo is the next big thing. Okay. What happens when it's not? You're still in the people business. Doesn't matter. You know why people stay loyal to the MLM company? Because they're getting paid. Trust me, the company will flood with different products, different add-ons to the product. Do you think we're just going to be a telehealth company? No. We'll be a biometric company. Okay. We'll be a nutritional supplement company. We'll have all different products. But eventually, no matter what you're doing, you're going to have to build a base. Once you have the base, you could bring any product into the base. You want to know why? Because the base controls. Consumer base. Do you think it matters what product you put on Walmart shelf? Doesn't matter. Does it have to be the best product for it to sell? No. See, Walmart has millions of people. How about Amazon? How about Apple? First $1 trillion market cap. Apple yesterday. Trillion. Does it matter what product Apple puts in? Doesn't matter. It's going to sell. Hey, guess what? Apple now has Post-its. Okay, they drop a Post-it in. Well, I'm going to buy the Apple Post-its. Did you ever see that movie, Michelle and Romy go to the reunion? Anyway, it is a comical movie. Okay, you know how you go to your reunion and you're trying to impress everybody? Well, they told their classmates that they invented Post-its. Anyway, it backfired. So anyway, my point is, once you have a consumer base, you could drop whatever product you want in there. So it's not easier anywhere else. Make the one that you're in work. Don't look for the answer. The answer is what I'm teaching you today. Another tip. Now, some of you got to take this step now. Big step, big one. Get better at presenting. Get better at speaking. Right? Film yourself. Look at yourself. How do you come across? Do you know your company's opportunity presentation? You know how many people don't even know it? I'm on that all the time, Jeff. Okay. If you had to do one, could you? Got to get better at that. Practice. You know how many times I practice? And guess who my best audience was? My couch and the throw pillows were the audience. True. And I would just get up there and I would talk to the couch and I would enroll every throw pillow. They all came in at the top level too. I was really good. My throw pillows, man, they gave me a standing ovation. I was the best presenter to those throw pillows. And it's amazing. They all came in at the top level every time. Now, you might laugh, but that's how I practiced. And then I film myself. I go, oh my God, I can't believe I do that. You know, sometimes you have little quirks. You go, you do. People go, Jeff, you do this. I go, no, I don't. They say, Jeff, you do this. Or they'll say, Jeff, you said that. I go, no, I didn't. And then all of a sudden someone would film me. I go, oh my gosh, eye-opening. And then I got better. Then you know what I learned? I don't care. I am who I am. I use my hands. There's some people go, don't do that, don't do this. That's who I am. Just your audience knows if you're genuine. Now, that's a skill you'll have to develop when you get better at presenting and speaking. A good reference book, How to Inspire Any Audience by Tony Jerry. Okay, the best way to learn how to inspire an audience, guys, I'm a firm believer in this, is go talk in front of an audience. Just go do it. That's a tip. Okay, got to get better at presenting and speaking. When you experience a downturn, what does a leader do? You will notice the results are directly linked to the amount of exerted value and number of people you contact about the business. Why do you think companies usually start off with a bang? Because everybody has their initial group they're going to go to, and they know a certain percentage are going to get involved. So you got a bunch of people working to talk to as many people as they can. But what happens over the time? Well, look at this graph. That's exactly what happens. Oh, I sponsored 2 people. I could stop now talking to people about my business. Biggest killer in the world. You need people. The key is a leader keeps their people focused in for a period of 18 months of nothing but recruitment. After 18 months, you could look at what's stuck. And then guess what you do? You do it again. You never stop. But then you start getting traction. Traction means consistent income. Consistent income means what? Moving away from maybe your job. Then you're full-time. You see how it's an evolution. That's what happens. If you do something long enough, a ratio will appear. What you lack in skills, you make up in numbers. Learn your numbers. How many people do I have to talk to find the people that get involved? See, if I knew my numbers, I knew that we had to always have 300 people always in the funnel. And when someone fell through the funnel, I would have to add more people. I had to have consistently to get consistent business. Well, now, how long is it going to take you to get your numbers? See, mine was 300. Well, now you got to go back. How many people a day are you going to talk to throw in your funnel? Well, Jeff, 5. Okay, well, how long will it take you to get 300? It's 30 times 5 if you're working 30 days, 2 months before you have a consistent funnel. Doesn't mean you're not making money for 2 months. It just means your job is to keep throwing them in the funnel. And let the system sift through them. That's all. So that's your job. If you want to learn fast, fail forward fast. Fail and learn and then get better. Another great book. I've told you about this, Failing Forward. Okay, it's amazing. Failing forward, failing towards success. People say that's an oxymoron. No, it's the truth. Failure is how you succeed. Constantly associate with other leaders. Okay, well, we talk about this all the time. Get around it. If there's a leader doing anything, go to the event. Jeff, that costs me money. You're investing in yourself. You're investing in yourself. Well, I got my auto ship. Okay, let's just look at this. Okay, let's just take a traditional business for 1 second. This is what makes me crazy. Right? We're penny wise, dollar foolish. Okay, your auto ship or whatever is required from you, you got to be on it. Okay, that's a monthly. That's your monthly nut. What is it? 100, 150, 2. I've seen as high as 5. Okay, normally it's between 100 and 200 bucks. Okay, now company events, flight, hotel, whatever it is, that's part of your budget. So that's why when Lisa and I got involved, or Lisa got involved, she goes, Jeff, when I finally had some belief, she goes, I need a credit card just for my business. And that credit card's my responsibility. I said, okay, what do we need it for? Now this is Lisa. Now this was crazy. It's going to blow you away, but this was it. This is what it was 25 years ago. The monthly qualifier was $5,000 a month. I'm sorry, back then it was $3,000. $3,000 a month. You know how your auto ship was 150 or 100? Ours was 3,000. So in other words, to stay qualified, I had to bring in a new person that came in for $3,000, or I had to have $3,000 in consumer purchases for us to qualify for our check. This is 25 years ago. Okay? So if Lisa only did 2 that month, because she had months that were not good, she would have to buy another 1,000 to qualify. Because this is all we knew. Because the owner said you'd never not qualify. So obviously we tried to do it with new business, but sometimes it didn't happen. That was the first thing we had to do. Then we had a training center. Lisa had an office in the training center. $900 a month. Because it was a real business. See, this is our first exposure. We just thought this is how it was. Then we have to fly to Dallas every month because they had the MLM school every month. And the leaders always went. So we go, we're leaders. So obviously we were coming out of pocket. So Lisa goes, I need a credit card. Because if I'm short and I need to do something, if it's not being covered by the commissions, I don't want my business to slow down. Sound familiar? If you bought any traditional business, are you profitable day one? Or are you coming out of pocket? Are you tapping into investors' money? Are you tapping into money that you maybe borrowed? Okay, well that was the mentality that we had. So I said, okay, here's a credit card with a $25,000 limit. If you're short, use this like a real business, duh, until you become profitable. Now, fortunately for us, you became profitable very quickly. But that credit card had to be paid with the earnings that were coming out of our business. Sometimes we made the minimum payment, right? Sometimes we paid it down, but that was a business mindset. Now I'm going down this road because this says associate with other leaders. Let me ask you all a question. What's your overhead? You can't compare your overhead to ours back then because the industry's evolved. There's not training centers anymore. I mean, very few. There's no $3,000 qualifiers. You don't have to fly to your company's event every month. So sometimes you got to go, wait a minute, am I really doing this? See, your actions show you you're not really in. If you're worried about your $149 auto ship, you're not really in. That's pennies. If you look at a traditional business of $12,000 to $15,000 a month overhead, think about that. If it's $15,000 a month and your business only brought in $8,000, what are you going to do? Close up? Oh, we had a bad month. Shut it down. No. What do? You pull the 7 to stay afloat. Then hopefully next month you do more than 8. Then you do 10. Now you're only coming out of pocket 5. Then you get to 15. Now you're even. Now you have traction. Same thing. See, we don't think this way though. You should. So now I say, get a credit card, okay? That's your business. When they say there's a company event, okay, I don't have the money. I'm not making money yet. Put it on your credit card. Yeah, you heard me. If you treat it like a real business, if you're committed to it, well, I would never do that. Okay, then don't. Then don't. I'm just telling you what it takes. There is pain. There is sacrifice. You are putting yourself out there. Duh. Why do you think most people don't own a business? They can't stomach it. They don't have the guts for it. This is a business that produces way more than any traditional business once you build it. How do you do it? Get around the leaders. Get around the energy. Set high standards and have high expectations. If the leader gets soft, his followers become very weak. See, I can honestly say, I would never tell people this 25 years ago, get a credit card. You know what I would say? Oh my God, it's an auto ship. $100. And I'd be worried about that. But see, now I understand it's a business. This is a business. Ask questions from the leaders you look up to. Respect their time, keep their expert. I just did that. Okay, what am I doing? Okay, wow, I went way back, didn't I? Okay, wait a minute. Was it this one? Okay, that was a ratio. I did that one. Yep, okay. All right. Avoid doing anything you don't want your team to duplicate. Okay, in other words, the only thing that works is what's duplicatable. In other words, if you're the only one being able to do what you do, then you'll only ever earn off your own efforts. That's why no matter what, I always say, what did you do, Jeff? And people always try to test me. Well, I sent them the video. Well, then what'd you do? Well, I got him on a webinar. Then what'd you do? Well, then I got him started. Really? That was all you did? You sent him the video? Yeah, that's all I did. Now, my confidence and the way I set up the video may be different than a new person. But you know what? The message is always, I'm following the system. I'm following the system. I'm following the system. Why? No chink in the armor. I use the same presentation. I use the same, I don't change the slides. That's the presentation. Why? Because if someone in my group sees a slide change, guess what they do? They think they have to change the slide. Then they add another slide. Pretty soon, the presentation looks nothing like the company's presentation. And the owner says, what is that company that you're presenting? Not duplicatable. Doesn't matter if you agree with it, you do it. We'll take input. Well, I know we do. And we want everybody to buy into, but what if you don't buy into it? That's still the program. Okay, McDonald's owner, a person who owns a McDonald's franchise might have some ideas about the hamburgers. Hey, let's add mushrooms. No, we're not adding mushrooms. You follow me? Do what's duplicatable. Teach it to your team. And the best way is follow your company's system. Be transparent. It's one thing I've learned. To have a team and never have a lack mentality. Share with them what really works and duplicates, and you will see a positive result. Sometimes you got to have the tough conversations. Let people see your transparency. If it's going well, if it's not going well, I'm honest with you. I'll give you an example. Is everything perfect in my company? No, it's a startup. Are we working through some things? Oh my gosh, you have no idea, but it doesn't matter. It's part of business. And if someone can't handle that, guess what? They're not going to be in it for the long haul anyway. It might be better for you to quit. This may not be the time or place for you. You might want to wait till it gets better. And by the way, it'll never be perfect. I mean, I'm thinking about this. I'm driving down yesterday on the news there. Apple, the first $1 trillion industry in the history of the world. The next breath. But they have some problems. I'm thinking to myself, give me that problem of being $1 trillion company. But they have some problems. Well, duh, you don't become $1 trillion company without fighting through the problems. Do you know when Steve Jobs first introduced the iPhone, he had 6 other iPhones underneath the podium? Because based on the feature he had to show on the PowerPoint, he had to pick the iPhone that actually could show that feature because it wasn't all in one. And he'd be like, okay, I hope this is the one. Okay, good, that was right. Oh, this was the one. And he's showing different phones because it wasn't perfect. But did it matter? He still launched. And did Apple have some problems in the beginning? Oh my gosh, the recalls. Remember this? It was horrible. Things didn't work, but you know what? He goes, we got to go through it. $1 trillion market cap now. Apple will never work. Smartphones will never work. Now there's no other such thing but smartphones. Got to buy into your vision, guys. Got to have bigger vision. Don't fall in love with technology. This business is all about connecting and working with people. Now, stay balanced with technology. Processes don't do work. People do. Can't ever get away from the people business. And I do think this is a big faux pas going on in our industry right now. And I'm not saying there's not a place for technology. God knows. Being able to send a video and doing some of the things that there's a place. But if you get out of balance and all you're doing is everything online, you're not going to have a team that sticks. Why do you think I do this? Okay, I used to do this live twice a week, live at our training center. We had a calendar of events and the distributors came. Now we do it online. So I could still see you. I could still see the attendees. You could still hear me. Okay, but because I still understand at the end of the day, the core business is people. And when you understand that, you may be able to sponsor people through technology, but you're not going to keep them unless you get into the people business and sit down with them. Write their goals with them. That's how you find leadership. Consistently train them for the ones that want to take the journey. I think that's it. So, and then as you start to become a leader, your lifestyle needs to match up with it. Some people live the lifestyle first. That became part of their overhead. We made that mistake. That was a mistake we made, but we did it. We got the big house before we could afford it. But we marketed it. We made a fortune. You follow me? So that I'm not telling you to do that, okay, at all. I'm just saying make sure as you start making money, people are buying into the dream. You're showing it. But the best way to show it right now, scratch all this, is your attitude. A new attitude, a new commitment, holding yourself accountable. That to me is a lifestyle. Changing your hypnotic rhythm is a lifestyle. People start to notice that. They go, what's going on with you? Man, you're walking different. You're going to the gym now. You're eating differently, right? I see something going on. You're doing these meetings. People start to notice. Don't think they don't. You know why people notice? Because they never change. So any other difference, they notice. So that's what you have to do. You got to work on you. That's what leaders have done. And they're harder on themselves. And this is the toughest part of the business right here. Not the product, not your comp plan. It's going back to number one, being committed to your system and holding yourself accountable. All right, guys, Friday morning, weekend's coming. Have a great one. I'll see some of you on the call tomorrow, our update call. And see you Monday morning. Thanks, guys. Bye. Meeting.